Yes. So. Yep. Right.
Cool, thanks.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thanks, Andrew.
You did? No? Did either of you? No. I'm just asking, did either of you text her?
That's fine. This goes further. Press play again on the same video, yeah.
Dave, can you just find that again?
Yep, there you go, yep. Yes. I got it. Hey, look at that, hey, that's efficiency, right? High level production level stuff. This is what I do. No, useless.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, Dave, we're good? Yep. Okay. Thank you for being here today as we come together to celebrate and honour the life of Bruce. My name is Sophie, and I have the privilege of leading us through this service today. Please come in and take a seat. Pull some chairs in. Bruce meant so much to each of us in different ways. Today is about reflecting on the memories, the lessons and the love that he shared with us. It's also a time to support one another as we say goodbye and express our gratitude for the time we had with him. Let's make this a day of connection, of remembrance and of peace. Thomas?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to share some kind words and memories about Bruce, or as I call him, Pop. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate and remember Bruce. Pop was an amazing grandfather and a role model for both Ben and I, even though we didn't get to see him as much as we often like to. I believe Pop's love and passion for the ocean heavily shaped both Ben and me in ways we are now beginning to fully understand. Pop didn't need to be with us every day to leave an imprint on us. The stories we shared, often without many words, have stayed with me forever and always will. One thing that was always clear about Pop was his love for the ocean. I believe all stories and photos I've heard and seen over the years have played a massive part in my personal love for the ocean and nature in general. Whether it was walking along his gigantic pond or watching him sit quietly near the water while we went mud crabbing, or even simply listening to his good old fishing stories that would always blow me away. I'll always remember the peace he found in the ocean and something I'll always carry with me every time I'm near the water for the rest of my life, and hopefully with my kids as well. As I reflect on the time we had with him, I'm grateful for everything he gave to us, and I'll always carry his passion for nature with him, of appreciating all the simple things in life. So thank you, Pop, for everything. You'll be remembered and rest in peace. I'd like to welcome up.
Good afternoon. Pop, I always cherish and remember the times spent up north with Pop. Every trip up there was different. Always something new to find, always something new in the garden, pond, or garage. And of course adventures, whether it was out in the ocean, in the rivers, or in the sugarcane farmlands with Peter and Larry. My mum would be back at home, scared shitless about the crocs, snakes, or flipping the ATV. Pop had a huge impact on my life and the things I love the most. His fishing and love for the ocean, the stories he told from decades out in the water, and the way he shared the passion with me shaped me from a young age. Getting us out on Larry's boat, on the back of the reefs, rod in hand, always keen for the next bite. To the rides through the sugar canes, Tom and I holding on the back, buzzing to get down the croc and mud crab infested mangroves, running deep in the mud to pull the nets up first. One of my fondest memories with Pop was in the back garden getting the mud crab ready, the beef to cook up the best chili mud crab of all time. But first, of course, Pop had to get a handle on him. And in that moment, he must have thought he was back in his 20s, still sharp, still quick. But he soon found out his reflexes slowed down, while the mud crab stayed just as fast as ever. Before I knew, one lashed onto his finger, and there I was, scrambling to grab a wrench to pry it off. The time spent sitting in the back patio with Pop, watching over the pond, surrounded by all the little creatures running around the pond, with the bulldogs playing the TV, and the TV in the back, something I always keep with me. Talking about the days we've had, or the stories of his past. I'll be grateful for all the times I've had with him, for the adventures and stories, and for the impact and presence in my life. I'll hold him to the time we spent together for a very long time. Thank you.
Bruce, my father-in-law, always had the heart of so many... Hold on one second. Bruce, my father-in-law, has always been the heart of so many wonderful memories for our family. Was nothing short of a fishing master, as Liv has spoken about. It all began with the boys eagerly picking strawberries, which was part of the orchard, part of the garden, Bruce's pride and joy. They'd wander around the pond, crossing the bridge and giggling at the sight of the fake snake, and it always caught them by surprise every time we went up there. Honey and Leah, the ever faithful dogs, were full of excitement, and the boys used to send them the squeakiest toys they could find for Christmas. Poor Viv, I'm sure she always looked forward to us one day sending a quiet soft toy. The garden wasn't just a playground for the kids, but also a haven for morning smokos, a Queensland term. Linny, Kay, Peter and Larry would join us for laughter. And stories shared over the outside kitchen table. They'd make us homemade cheesecake, a big Tupperware box brimming full of chocolate chip cookies, and Neil's beloved fruitcake. Whenever we got up there, guaranteed, we had Tupperware containers galore provided to us, which Kay, Larry and Linny had made for us in the prior week. So the thing I looked most forward to was the nights where the mud crab would be cooked and Linny would bring over 2-litre milk jugs of Toblerone cocktails. It was good vibes in that backyard. Everyone came together in the comfort of their friendship, their family, and the beauty of the garden. Beyond the garden lay the joy of exploring the two farms, the sugarcane farm and the beef farm. Kay and Peter's. Walking through the sugarcane, the kids and myself were always on the lookout for green tree frogs. I would squeal when I came across them every time. The quiet beauty of the native water lilies poking their heads up in their dam, and it changed every time we went up there. There was always the thrill, as Tom and Ben alluded to, of a crocodile. The mud crab traps. I will always have the memory of Bruce going down those slippery banks like a bull at the gate, smoke in one hand, if not his mouth, and crab pots in the other. Me within 30 centimetres of each child, thinking that I was going to throw myself in front of the croc. Larry and Lynn's. The day spent at Larry and Lynn's farm, riding on the Polaris, feeding the cattle, sugarcane, and also the beautiful Dingo Beach shack. Rainbow lorikeets, the curlers, the pub, picking up coconuts and putting them in Bruce's Mercedes, which was one of the pride joys of his life. I don't ever think he knew that I would fill that car with over 30 coconuts from the side of the road. One of our final trips up to Proserpine as a family, we were blessed to have Chantel and Emerson join us and share our family experience of Pop's World. Sharing these simple joys, as the boys kept saying, the simple joys of the ocean and nature, which we shared with Emerson and Chantel, was one of my highlights. And it made our families' memories even richer. The laughter, the exploration, the bond we shared in Bruce and Viv's world will always remain a cherished part of our lives. It's a piece that's deeply shaped our family, and thank you for the time that we've spent up in Proserpine, Viv with the family, and of course with Bruce.
Okay, everybody, welcome today to the celebration of Bruce William Munro. He was born on the 3rd of August, 1939. He was the son of Walter and Sylvia. He was the brother of Andrew, Aileen, Faye and Robert, who are unfortunately deceased. He was the husband to Mum, Roseanne, who's also deceased. He's the father to myself and Catherine, and father-in-law to Sophie, and great-grandfather to Tom and Ben. I'm pretty disappointed today because I was hoping this event to be sponsored by Philip Morris. But they're probably in a bit of shock at the moment due to the fact that the number one client is deceased and their revenue stream would have gone spiral downhill. Talking about cigarettes, I've had a funny situation 2 days ago, which I actually wasn't going to talk about. And I was in Footscray at an ATM machine, just getting some money out. And across the road, over the last 12 months, is the tobacco shop, the chop shop that I used to go to every week, get Dad a carton of cigarettes and 2 lighters. You give the lady at the chop shop $210. So I'm getting the money out of the ATM, I could hear this woman screaming. And I look around, You come here. You come here. Me? So I walk across surgery. Where have you been? I said, sorry. Where have you been? I'm not seeing you for 2 weeks. I said, well, no. You got better customer. I'll give you a better price. Come talk to me. Eventually his son comes up and I start, is this your mother? She's in her like 50s, this particular woman I've been dealing with for 12 months. And I said, tell your mother that actually Dad's passed away. So that's the reason why I haven't been here for 2 weeks. So he tells her that. But the look on her face was not the fact that, oh, I'm sorry, he's passed. It was also the 10.5k revenue stream that she now fails to get. Dad was born in Port Pirie and he grew up in Quorn, which is in the Flinders Ranges. That's another story for another time. He finished school and he did an apprenticeship as a fitter and turner. And once he finished his apprenticeship as a fitter and turner, he then decided to join the petroleum industry, which he did and worked for about 30 years. His first station was working with Mobil on the oil tankers, travelling throughout the world, and in particular the Suez Canal. Once he came back from that duty, at the same time while he was doing that, he was also studying by correspondence to get his degree as a mechanical engineer. Certainly a gene that I didn't inherit. But once he actually got back home to Pirie, he then basically got married to my mother, started a family, and then he basically decided to join Shell. And that was a journey that lasted for approximately about 30 years. He discovered fairly quickly that with a large corporate organisation, the best way to move up the ladder was to travel. And boy, did we do that. And we started off, we left Pirie and we went to Darwin for a stint for about 2.5 years. Darwin back then and the Northern Territory was the Wild West. And I think that really got Dad's juices flowing in regards to what life was about, the outdoor activities, the fishing, the freedom. So that really sort of started him off. So after a period of spending some time in Darwin, he came home and we got to see that look in his eye that we got to see from then on a fairly regular basis that, yep, we're on the move again. So quickly as we finished up in Darwin, he said, we're off to PNG, Papua New Guinea. I hadn't even heard of this place. Where is it? So he brings out the Jacaranda Atlas, sits down, shows us where we're going. We're off to Lae, we're off to Rabaul, we're off to Port Moresby. So, yep, off we go. And I must say, from a childhood perspective, it was a wonderful experience. The culture, the people, everything about it was amazing. Dad got to travel fairly extensively, and we got to travel with him up into the highlands of Goroka and Mount Hagen, which was truly amazing. So after a period of being in PNG for a period of time, once again we've come home, sit down for dinner, and Dad's got that look in his eye again. Okay, where are we off to this time? We're off to the Kimberleys and the Pilbara in WA. So right, okay, so off we go. Off to the Pilbara, Dad's flying around various parts of WA. We're based in Karratha and Dampier. Once again, fantastic life. Great part of the world, and just thoroughly enjoyed it. Until the call came again. Dad had been promoted, but this time he had to move back to Perth. So we moved back to Perth. Mum was pretty happy at that stage to be in a capital city, settling down. Dad, unfortunately, not a great person after the freedom he had, settling into a capital city. Myself, I'd had enough of travelling at that stage and going to so many different schools, so I pulled the pin and started my apprenticeship as a chef. Catherine decided to go on to university, so that was that. We're in Perth for, Mum and Dad were in Perth for, I can't remember the exact time, maybe 3-4 years, when Dad's itchy feet just got the better of him. So he came home one night, sitting down as a family, and he announced that he was going back to PNG again. Mum was fairly mortified because she didn't want to leave. He was going back there as general manager for Shell for PNG, Solomon Islands and Bougainville. So off they went. Once again, Mum was pretty disappointed about going back up there because She did have restrictions in regards to being there because she wasn't able to work. Obviously, Catherine and I weren't with her at that particular time. Dad was travelling a lot, so it was a bit of a lonely existence for her for a period of time. At that stage, just at the end of when they were coming back from PNG, I just landed in Melbourne after coming from London, and my phone rang. Mum was extremely excited. It's like, okay, what's going on, Mum? Dad's been transferred to Melbourne. It's like, wait, so excited. There's three things Mum liked. Firstly, in Melbourne, I was there. The second thing is that shopping. She was a shopping queen. So I was like, happy days. At last I've got somewhere where I can go out and shop and spend and do what I do best. And the third thing is, she got to go and see her beloved Bombers. She was a mad Bomber supporter. So that was something that was very, very close to her heart. Something at the time that she really liked, because the Bombers, the baby Bombers back then, were on a pretty good run, and she was up and about. Unfortunately for Dad, Dad was like a caged lion. He hated Melbourne. He was stuck in head office, 15th floor of Spring Street, calling meetings all day, no more travelling, getting in traffic to and from work, stuck in suburbia, just everything that he basically did want to do. So it wasn't long before he basically decided that, okay, I need to get out of here. So once again, used his network system, made a few calls, sat the family down, and I was like, right, okay, we're off to New Zealand. So he became the general manager for Shell New Zealand. Mum, once again, wasn't that happy to go there, but they did have 2 or 3 very good years there, and they loved New Zealand. They did a lot of travelling, and it was really good. Then Dad unfortunately got transferred back to Melbourne again, which he just did not want to do. And he got back to Melbourne, and once again he was like a cage lion. It's not what he wanted. So he was in his early 50s at this stage, and he decided to retire. Just don't want to be in this anymore, and was basically looking to move further north at that stage. But unfortunately we had a bit of a double whammy, and that is the same time he's retired, it's when my mother got sick, and she was diagnosed with cancer. So that was a bit of a struggle, and then in the end they decided to move and go back to Adelaide, because Mum was from Adelaide, and she basically passed away there with her family. So that left a pretty big hole for all of us as a family. Dad in particular, because at the same time he'd retired, he lost his wife. He then decided to buy a beach shack down at a place called Fisherman's Bay, which is on the Spencer Gulf, where he was for about 6 months, where he caught his whiting, did crabbing, and just basically had some time for himself to work out what he was going to do. Didn't take long for him to get the itchy feet again and to move on in regards to Spencer Gulf, winter time. He just hated the cold. That's why I hated Melbourne as well, because he just couldn't relate to the cold after being in the tropics and the Pacific for so long. So, sold the shack and decided to move to the Sunshine Coast, which was a decision that Mum and him had decided to do anyway before, once he retired. Unfortunately, she didn't get to go there. So he moved to Mooloolaba. As soon as he got to Mooloolaba, he bought his game fishing boat. He joined the Mooloolaba Yacht Club and met 2 of his best friends in his journey in life. And they were a couple of Larrikins, George and Adrian. Both of them just got divorced, both of them had just retired. They're a couple of years younger than my dad was at that stage, but they hit off like they were besties. George and Adrian spent nearly 30 years working in Hong Kong. George was a flight engineer and Adrian was a Cathay Pacific captain. So George and Adrian had 2 fantastic yachts, and Dad had his game boat. So in between going out fishing with Dad, Dad would go sailing with them, and they'd be off to the South Pacific, they'd be off down to New Zealand, across to Tahiti, and over to Thailand. They had a wonderful time for about 8 years. Just 8 of the best years of his life. So he was living it up, and then Catherine and I got wind that there was another person in Dad's life. and we discovered it was a female, and her name was Vivian. And Vivian was coming down to Wollongong to spend some time with Dad, and Dad was going back up to the Whitsundays, to where Vivian lived, to catch up with her and meet her family. Well, it wasn't before long Dad decided, no, I've had enough of Wollongong, so he decided to move his everything and build a house with Vivian, where he basically shared that house with her for pretty much the last 20 years. I would like to say a very special thank you to Vivian and her family for all the support and love and time that they gave Dad for all the time he was up there. He thought the world of her family and had the best of time. So to Vivian, Lynn and Larry, Kay and Peter and John and Jenny, thank you from the bottom of my heart for making him so happy. Unfortunately, about 18 months ago, Dad started to get ill, and he had to go into a nursing home at Proserpine. At that particular time, his life didn't really work, so after quite a few trips going up and down and talking to him about it, we decided to relocate him back to Melbourne. And that's where he has spent the last 12 months, and he finally passed away due to the sickness 2 weeks ago. But that's the story of Dad's life. It was a pretty amazing life, and he was a pretty amazing father. So all I can say is, Dad, thank you for everything, and rest in peace.
Okay. As we come close to the end of this service, let's carry forward the fond and happy memories that Bruce and Pop gifted us with. On behalf of Neil, Thomas, Ben and myself, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who's attended today. You're all pretty special people. Thank you. Thank you. May we take comfort in the moments we've shared together, and may Bruce's memory continue to inspire us. Before we conclude, I'd like to invite you to watch this montage of photos, and let's remember him with the love he deserved. And I might ask a question at the end of it at the wake. How many fish? What type fish? And how big were the fish in these photos? Thank you, everyone. And thank you for everyone online.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting in the evening come, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away, yeah. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've had nothing to feel for, look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change, everything still remains the same. I can't do what people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. This 2,000 miles I roam, just to make this dock my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh. sitting on a darker bay, wasting time.
I cleaned out that pond in my wetsuit. Okay, go fill your glasses if you can stay and
We have the side section of the bar
make a toast.
over to the left-hand side. So please charge your glasses if you have time, and see when I'm charging
This is more nice.
Hello, thanks for that. I saw you and I was like, oh my goodness, it took me back to when you were little. It's like, can I squeeze you like when you were little? Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. Thanks so much about you. Hopefully it was all nice. Hello. No, of course. Yes, I know that my family's holiday was so rich by meeting you guys. Like, they had such a blast. And I said to them, without, you have to take that piece to God.
Okay, so you've got to come with me.
It's like you just get there and you don't but anyway, they loved the mix of personalities. My daughters were explaining the layers and how everyone meets them at different times. It was so special to them. I think they're hoping to go again next. Yeah, we're hoping. And how amazing, Zoe? Yes. Yes. She's doing really well. Yes.
Hi, Matthew, how are you doing?
And the last 6 months have been a big turnaround. Hey, how are you? Oh, thank you. You did very well. And the other girls are great? Yeah, really good. Yeah, the daughter's studying her course. I'm studying a second semester, but this year is her internship. So she's off to Zambia. Yeah, 6 weeks. And then she comes back for a month. She's off later in the hour, and she's off for we zipped through Zambia. She's so excited. She's so excited. And she doesn't go back to the year till next week. I'm like, what a big, right, it's like, what a life. That actually but yeah, and then we obviously, like the birthday, so a place, but yeah, I do use that.
Okay, fantastic. All right. One second.
Send it to me, then send it to me.